Hey everyone, Trevor Daly with MagMod. Hey, I am excited. We had a How I Shot It episode on Monday, and we also have another one today. And I am super excited to introduce you guys to Toni Darcy. But before I do that, I just want to mention we have a third episode this week on Friday. So I am trying to bring you as many incredibly talented photographers as possible so you guys can be inspired by all their images. Now that everyone's getting back to shooting, or at least we're starting to kind of get back into it, hopefully all these episodes of How I Shot It are super inspiring. I know this one definitely will be. So in just a second here, we're going to bring Toni Darcy in. And Toni, I fail at these intros. I did that same thing on Monday. I tried to run the intro, and I'm sitting there going, all right, is the intro going to run? That's all right. That's what I get for trying to produce these shows live by myself. I need like an actual producer, like running a board or something. But hey, Toni, I am so stoked to have you on here. Thanks so much for joining me today.
No, thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Yeah. Look at this. We already got people jumping in. Let's go. Hey, guys. Actually, this one comes from Michael over here says, let's go. I like it. So cool. So, Toni, first off, I got to say, I love your accent. So tell everyone where you're from, where you're tuning in from, I guess, or interviewing from.
Well, to be honest, I'm surprised you can understand my accent. um, so I'm from the northwest of the UK. So I'm from Lancashire. Yeah, in the UK. It's so exciting because I feel like everyone's like over in America. I feel like it's quite nice to have like the UK on as well.
Yeah, well, first off, I gotta say, I can certainly understand you. That's definitely not an issue. But see, accents are one of those things where it's like, I don't know. It's one of those. It's very attractive, right? Like I'm wondering, Americans over here, our accent is terrible. So if I go to the UK, are people like, "Ooh, I like that American accent," or is it just something that? Oh, do they? I think you're just being nice right now. No, go ahead.
Not
I'm
at
sorry.
all. I think everyone from around here, like where I'm from, so I've got like what they would call a farmer's accent. So it's probably not one of the most attractive accents in the UK.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Well, Brian's actually tuning in close to you. He's over there by the Netherlands.
Hey,
I don't
Brian.
I don't understand this comment. I'm not sure. You have to tell me what this means. Chorley?
Well, I'm quite close to Chorley actually. I'm about 20 minutes from Chorley, but I don't know what a Chorley cake is. Is it similar to an Eccles cake? I'm not sure. An Eccles
Mm,
cake, I think, has got like currants inside it or something.
nice. I'll have to check that out. And then we got another one from the Netherlands. We got people tuning in from the Netherlands. So appreciate you guys watching from all over the world. You guys know you've seen these before. I always love seeing where you're tuning in from. So definitely, if you're joining us, even if you're joining us a little bit late, certainly let us know where you're tuning in from. It's always fun to just kind of see how this show reaches people from all over the world and is inspiring for so many people. So definitely. In fact, George is saying, yeah, it's correct. That I guess it's what did you call it?
Yay.
Eccles cake? What did you call that?
Eccles cake.
Eccles cake.
Eccles.
I'll have to check that out. Well, right on. Well, Toni, before we jump into your images, let's just pull up your Instagram and your website so everybody can find you. Looks like I'm zoomed in a little bit close here. So here is your Instagram, guys. Make sure to go follow her. And if you scroll on down, you'll see some super inspiring and awesome photographs. So again, that's just Toni Darcy. Simple enough, right? And I also want to show your website real quick. Very, very pretty website. Love it. Every time I open these up and I look at other people's websites, I just like feel bad about my website. It needs a lot of help. So
I honestly felt as though I needed to do a bit of work on mine before tonight, but I've not had chance.
no, it's funny. I get a lot of people say that. They'll be like, "Oh, I need to go update my website," but it looks great. And then Toni, I am also going to show everybody you have a YouTube channel, and I want to
I
make sure
do.
you guys go check this out. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's only tiny at the minute, but yeah, definitely go and check it out. There's loads of different MagMod tutorials on there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, in fact, it's funny because I was looking at this. Some of these images, guys, I'm kind of giving you a heads up right now. Some of these images we are going to actually talk about today. But if you want more information, definitely go check out her website. Hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification so you can get notified when Toni posts some cool videos. And what a great opportunity just to learn from other, awesome photographers. So definitely go subscribe to Toni's YouTube. I love YouTube channels like yours where it's like I don't get bombarded with new videos every single day, but when they come out, it's
Yeah.
good quality content that I definitely want to see. So I'm looking forward to getting and seeing more of your content, Toni. So
Thank you.
yeah, good stuff. By the way, before we jump into the images, George is saying he's from Australia. So he's been up to your area numerous times. Brian's already saying it looks great. You got Mark tuning in from UK, so we appreciate Mark being here. You got Madhuri. I'm sorry, I probably pronounced that wrong, but I know you've been on here before, so I appreciate you being here. From Chennai, India. See, isn't that fun? Isn't that fun, Toni, just to see all these people tuning in from all over?
It blows my mind.
Yeah, I love it too. I know it seriously blows my mind as well. It's a lot of fun. Well, Toni, should we jump right into these images?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Awesome. Guys, I'm excited because Toni not only gave me some incredible shots to share, but she also included some really cool BTS. So literally every single image we're going to talk about has BTS or something, kind of a little tip to go with the image. So, if it's not BTS, it's like there's one that's a really cool little tip that we were talking about prior. And I was like, well, gosh, why didn't I think of that? So, so with that, Toni, I am going to bring up your first image here. And tell us about this one, how you shot it.
So this is actually the first time I've ever tried to replicate a sunset with my flash. I'm so pleased it worked so well. And it's actually the first time one of the, I was going to say one of the first times, but probably one of the few times that I have used the sphere in this way. It's definitely not my go-to modifier. But after taking this, definitely going to use it more often. I absolutely love the effect it gives. So I've created this image. There's actually a flash about 2 meters behind the model bride I have here, with a sphere on. And it's also got a MagMod CTO, full CTO gel on there as well, which is what's giving the warmth. As you can see, like it's cold, the sun had gone down. So yeah, I've used the flash and the modifiers to create the warm effect that you would imagine that the sun would give for you. And I definitely love how it turned out. I actually got her to flick her hair around just to create a little bit more movement in the image.
I love how her hair, with that warming gel, it just made her hair really pop and just glow right there as well. So pretty. I love that. So I want to show everyone the BTS one more time. So Toni, was there any light on her in front as well? I mean, we can see the light behind her. So the light in front was just the natural light. Is that correct?
Yeah, just the natural light on the front. I think next time, or definitely if it was a little bit darker, maybe next time I'll do like step 2, which is 2 flashes, but there was enough like light around to create a nice bit of light on her face, but I've definitely brightened that up a little bit in post.
Yeah.
And one other thing to mention was the white balance that I shot in as well. I know some people might find that confusing in a sense. But because I've used the orange gel at the back, I've also cranked up my white balance to about 7,000 to give the warmth at the front of the image as well.
I love that. And it's funny because that's exactly what the question just came in, was what was the Kelvin in camera? And so you had mentioned about 7,000, basically making her skin tones warm and also even making that CTO gel behind her even warmer, making it really look like, it looks like that golden hour right before sunset, Absolutely beautiful.
But as you can see, the sun had gone and it was just completely flat, the light. So it's really nice to have the tools to create something like this. And I never need to worry about the sun going down again.
Yeah, absolutely. There it is. Do you guys have, I mean, it seems like I've never been to the UK, but it seems like one of the things that comes up a lot is that the UK, let me go side by side here so we can see you. That the UK has kind of the more overcast skies. Is that typical down there? Yeah.
Definitely. I think when you get a good sunset, you get a really good sunset, but it would be quite rare on a wedding day. And if it does happen, you probably got a window of like 10 minutes to grab it before it goes. Because there's a lot of hills around where I live as well. So you're a bit limited in that way as well.
I love it. By the way, Toni, I got to say, it's funny when I saw your Facebook profile and I saw your Instagram profile, you look like you have this really kind of fun personality. And then you got Ian in the Facebook group was saying like, oh, she's got this contagious laugh, and which is true. You get this great laugh. But I didn't know what to expect when we came on. I wasn't sure if you're going to be wearing these crazy glasses, and I just wasn't sure what was. Yeah, I just.
My dad tells me all the time that I need to change my Facebook profile picture because it's inappropriate.
It's inappropriate. No, I love it. I think it shows the party side of you. I think it makes it fun. So, well, right on. Well, thanks so much for sharing that image. Let's go. Oh, by the way, real quick before we jump on to the next shot, I saw from Belize was tuning in. Diego. We got Lorenzo tuning in from Ireland, which is super cool. Sasha says hey. And Aniket is from Toronto. Love that guy. So yeah, we got Ellie. Ellie's one of our favorites. She's saying beautiful image. And then she adds to that. She says the ambience helps with the motion in the story. It kind of like, and I think what she's referring to there is the fact that you got that light behind her, but shooting with the natural light in front, you're able to kind of, shape it and kind of use that warmer tones and things like that, create some motion, so forth.
Yeah.
Very cool. And before we dive into this last image, Brian just mentioned I need to start experimenting more with my white balance. Absolutely. I would say if there's one thing, and Toni, you let me know if you agree or not, but I would say if there's one thing that once you learn how to use your camera, definitely learn how to master white balance, how to change your white balance and control it, because it makes it so much better to experiment and stuff.
100%. I use manual white balance all day long.
Yep, exactly.
And you probably won't find me using my flashes without the CTO gels as well.
Oh, yeah? Is that one of your go-to modifiers, is throwing some gels in there? Nice. Very cool.
I use the CTO gel, yeah.
That's awesome.
Apart from this time.
That's awesome. It's like, here, let's show you an example. Oh, wait, no, not this one. Well, excellent. Well, tell us about this image, though. Even if you didn't use the CTO gel, tell us about this shot.
So this is very similar to the last one, but very much the weather we can definitely expect in the UK is a lot of rain. And sometimes people fear the rain, but this is like the only type of picture you can get in the rain that you can't get any other time. Like you can't fake this and you can't make it up. Like this is just heavy rain, which is definitely what we can expect on a lot of wedding days in the UK.
Yeah.
So again, I've used the sphere in this image, or CTO gels this time, which is why you've got like the really blue sky behind. And the flash is just placed behind the couple with the sphere on, just to make that really soft, beautiful like spread of light around the image.
I love that.
I should add as well that I had a plastic bag on my flash because it was raining that heavy.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Have you ever used it where you use the mag sphere on the outside and just use the magnets on the mag sphere to hold the plastic bag in place? Have you ever done that?
No, I've never thought of that, but that makes so much more sense.
Yeah. It's because I mean the mag sphere, being that it's silicone, it can get wet, so they'll just put the plastic bag over the flash and then attach it with the magnets just to keep it steady on there. I thought that was pretty genius.
That's a brilliant tip.
Well, speaking of tips, there's a tip on this one too. There's a second image that goes with it, and I had asked you, I'm like, oh, is this kind of like a BTS of sorts, or did you Photoshop, make it wider? What'd you do here? So tell us about this next image that goes right with it. This one here.
So this is taken so I should tell you the story behind this photograph as well. So I've gone outside in the rain, set up this shot, and as you can see, the rain is so heavy. And this is like the last shot of the day. So I've grabbed the bride and groom at the very end of the night and said, I literally need you for like 10 seconds. So once I've got the close-up image, which you see on the previous slide, this is actually the same camera, the same lens, and I've just taken maybe 20 steps back. And yeah, it's shot on the 85, but it's exactly the same settings and everything. So I feel like once you've got your image that you really love, don't stop there. Move your feet around and see if you can get something else, because these two are so different, but literally taken like 20 steps from each other.
You know, and I think that's such a simple tip, but it's so important. I mean, look at the difference between you got this close-up shot and you get it nailed and you're like, oh, that's beautiful, and just stepping back and creating that second shot. And I think so often we forget to do that. You know, we get so comfortable with that first shot and we're like, yeah, got it. and then we forget, like, move around just a little bit and create maybe 5 or 6 more sets from that same lighting.
I think I had like maybe 5 in total, some with them on the corner of the frame, some with them in the middle. And yeah, it's really interesting how you can get so many different pictures from one very simple setup.
Yeah, I love that. It's so cool. So cool. I always like to throw these comments in because I definitely want to recognize you guys for tuning in. We got Alston saying, "What's up? Love the photo." And what's
Thank
fun too
you.
is when I read the comments, I can read them in whatever voice I want. You know, like, I don't know why I did that. Um, Ian, which is the one who mentioned your laugh in the Facebook group. Yes, the laugh is contagious. Even better on a fun day training courses that she does. Do you actually do like workshops and training
Oh,
courses out there?
yeah, I do. Yeah, I tend to do like more portfolio building workshops. So they're
Okay.
really relaxed and really informal, small numbers, just so I can encourage people to like have the confidence to take better photos and obviously learn a little bit in the process as well.
I love that. That's really cool. That's really cool. And by the way, those are hard to set up, like those, because you got to get all the models and the lighting. I mean, everything has to come together. So hats off to you for doing that. Brian loves the rain, looks like stars. I agree. Ellie says incredible capture. You got Francis saying stunning shots. And Sasha, oh, he's laughing at my reading his comment there.
Accents.
Yeah, my accent, exactly. Right on. Well, Toni, let's jump on to this next shot. And this actually, it happens to be a photograph that you recently posted in the MagMod community. And you show a little behind the scenes there, and it actually was really popular. I think it had like 500 likes already in just a matter of 24 hours or so. So I'm glad you brought this in here. So tell us about this image, how you created it.
Should I tell you like the good story or the bad story?
Well, now I want to hear both.
Well, this is actually taken through a CD, through the reflective CD, and then the little hole you get in the middle. It's taken
Yeah.
through that hole. Um, but I must admit, I had a bit of a paddy while I was creating this one. So this is a model. This was taken fairly recently, and when things just aren't going right, and you think, no, I'm going to give up. There's no point wasting time. No point. No point.
Yeah,
And then I think,
absolutely.
actually, no, there is point because there is something good in this, and it's just persevering and sticking with it. And I love like creative days like that because it means you can try your creative ideas so that next time when I'm at a real wedding, I can just knock this photo out like in a matter of like not minutes, but not as long as it took me to create this one. So yeah, there's actually 2 flashes that I've used in this photograph. First up, I have a flash on the right side of the frame, um, where the writing is, where it says flash A, and that's actually pointing down towards the model. So basically, how I've created it is by just getting a very simple, safe flashlit portrait. Um, as I said before, I always use the Mag CTO gels, so I've got a Mag CTO gel on there. And another of my go-to favorites is also the Mag Grid because I love how it just controls the spill of the light so much.
Hmm.
So you don't have the light like spilling on all the furniture around. As you can see, there's couches and all sorts in that frame there.
Yeah.
So yes, created like the safe image, if you will, like the first safe image, and then I've gone in to introduce the CD. But I must admit, I was having a bit of a nightmare because not only trying to focus through the ring in darkness was just an absolute nightmare. I couldn't see what I was doing. I kept having to shove my finger through the hole to like see where I was going. And then I've introduced a second flash where just past where the writing is on the left of the frame.
Hmm.
We'll call that flash B. And I've used that flash to light up the CD, which is what has created the rainbow effect. And the reason I've got it either side is because I've shot through the middle of the CD. But I was finding that it was so bright. Obviously, the CD was extremely reflective, and it was
Uh-huh.
so bright that I actually ended up using, I think, 2 mag grids and also an ND filter as well to really sort
Ah.
of kill the light coming out of the flash. But I'm really pleased with the end result, and I'm so glad I didn't have a paddy and walk off.
I love it. Hey, for those who aren't familiar, tell everyone what an ND filter does.
So an ND filter just brings down the power of the light. So I was using the flash on the lowest power possible.
Hmm.
Um, and so the ND filter brings like sort of like brings the f-stop down by a couple of stops. So it means you can actually shoot. It kills the flash power basically.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You're getting lots of positive comments. Everybody's loving this.
Oh, thank
And
you.
yeah, but Harry, I would agree with you. It is amazing what you can do when you just kind of like all the. That's what I love about these episodes so much. It's just the idea that I get to talk to so many people and they show these ideas. I mean, I would have never thought to shoot through a CD. Finally, there's some use for CDs that are going away, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
but
That's what I
but I
kept on
love the
saying to people in the group. Now I
yeah.
have a use for them.
Now we have use exactly. I love how the point or the tip that you shared there, which is when you originally did it, you were getting it too bright. It was coming off the CD and probably reflecting back into the lens, and might have been too bright. And so you added two grids. You stacked two grids on top of each other to really to cut the power down, and then on top of that ND. So your flash must have been firing very very low power. I mean, you must have not been getting a whole lot out of it. Is that right?
Yeah, so it was 1/128th power, which is the lowest that my flashes go to, and it's probably about a meter away.
Gotcha.
There's a full video of how I created this and the steps that I went through on my YouTube channel. But I do like to do it step by step, so I know what each step is doing for me.
Yeah.
So first up, I tried the bare flash, obviously way too bright. Popped a grid on, still too bright. Popped another grid on, still too bright. So
Yeah.
then I actually moved the flash away a little bit further, and then obviously popped the ND filter on. But I must admit, again, first time using the ND filter, and I will definitely use it again. It's absolutely brilliant.
That's awesome. That's really cool that you're able to use it for that. I was just going to show everyone
MagMod and the
again.
Maxi.
Whoops. If you haven't yet already, go definitely subscribe to her channel. And there you go. She's walking you through the whole thing, which is so cool. Toni, what makes you do these videos? Like, are you going to put together a course, or is it just that you just like to do kind of BTS and kind of help the photo industry? What is your drive behind the YouTube?
I think a few reasons, to be honest. I love the idea. I like pretending that I'm shy when clearly I'm not that shy if I'm making YouTube videos. I just love helping people. That's why I do the workshops as well. I love the feeling that you get from helping other people. It makes you feel good. And, there's everyone can learn more, and I can learn more, and everyone else can learn more. And I like sharing it in a way that I'm not making people feel a little bit stupid for not knowing something. It's just like, hey, I had this cool idea, go try it out. Here's exactly the steps for you to try it out. And, you might be able to make it even better as well. And I
I
think
love
there's
that.
also something to be said for like, especially, I don't know if this is in America as well, but definitely in the UK, I think there's a little bit of stigma between like using Flash, and a lot of dare I say it, like a lot of girls are scared to use Flash. So I kind of want to show like my peers that, Flash isn't that scary, guys. Get yourself out there and get taking photos.
I love it. I love it, Toni. That's such good advice. In fact, you already got Lorenzo. He's saying, "Hey, I'm subscribed." So everyone, go do what Lorenzo did. Go subscribe to her channel. Um,
Thank you.
but absolutely. And Derek, I love how Derek threw in some emoticons here. Brilliant shot. Love the use of the CD for that shot and using the filter. Good stuff. Absolutely. It was funny when you were saying the little advice there and kind of talking about why you do what you do in the YouTube channel. I just kept thinking, oh, I wish I could just be hitting the love button, love, 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 like on the little things. I was like, so true, so true, so true. So like, absolutely. Very cool. Well, let's jump right back into this next shot here. Let me go. This is another one that I know you have a video on. So again, guys, we're kind of getting like we're touching it. We're kind of showing you, and she's giving you kind of a behind the scenes and giving you some information, but definitely jump over to her YouTube channel and check out more info on each one of these photographs. So let's bring up this next one here, Toni. Tell us about this one.
um, so this one, it kind of builds on the CD one a little bit, but with a little bit of a difference. So the orange that you see on the front of the frame is actually some cookie cutters, um,
Mm.
and I've used a flash to light those cookie cutters. But in my like step by step process, if you will, the first step for me is definitely creating what I would call the base image, which is like the blue that you see at the back.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And what I've done to create the blue at the back is I've actually got a flash sort of turned round facing away from me that's facing what was a curtain. I've made the room super, super dark, and I've actually lit the curtain with my flash. Um, and I've added, I think, just one mag grid and one mag gel in the creative teal color. And by adding the grid, what that allows me to do is it sort of, if I had just the flash on its own, it'd just be dispersing everywhere across the curtain. But as soon as you add the mag grid, it actually brings that circle in a little bit, and it creates
Mm.
more of like a uniformed sort of shape on the wall, if you will.
Yeah.
So once I've got that, I've got the bride here to just play around, like throwing the veil around. So I've got my base image, as you
Uh-huh.
can see there. She's just stood there. And then what I've done is I've introduced the cookie cutters in the same way that I've introduced the CD in one of the previous images. So they're just like silver circles, but all different sizes, and anything that's reflective, obviously if you light that up with your flash, it's going to show in your image. So what I've done is I've added a flash, I think it was to the left of the frame,
Okay.
and I've added, I think it was 2 mag grids and a mag gel in the creative orange color, just to add a bit of contrast between the teal color at the back. And then as you can see there, I've sort of angled the cookie cutters so that the light's catching more of the inside and shot through them. So they're like really close to my camera, and I've just
Uh-huh.
shot right through them. And that's what's giving you like the orange circles around the edges.
I love that. I love that. And I want to show everyone kind of your how you ran through it. So this is tell us about this image right here. The screenshot.
So this was all my mistakes, basically. So I posted this in the MagMod community with my images and the behind the scenes, because I wanted people to know that these things don't just appear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And these things take time, but in practicing and in taking your time creating something like this, you can then take those tools with you on a wedding day and set something like this up in less than 10 minutes. But I think all this was to show the perseverance as well that I would go to make sure I've got the right shot, and not just thinking, oh, that's good, yeah, let's go, we'll go home now. I want to make sure I've definitely got the right shot.
Yeah. No, I love that. So here going back to show everyone the photograph so you can all see it. And then let me just bounce over to you can see all the different variations there. How often you tried it, just moving the cookie cutters just a little bit, and you can see, all the different variations and how that light bounces off of it. So super cool. Love it. Love it. Love
Yeah,
it.
I
Love it.
think in doing that, you sort of learn what works and what doesn't work as well. So I eventually learned that I needed to tilt them a little bit to get a little bit more light on them.
Uh-huh. So Toni, was this one of those situations where you were doing kind of one of those like shoots where you had a little bit more time, or was this on an actual wedding day when you did this?
No, so this one and the CD one were actually taken on the same day. So I think obviously you'll know one of your ambassadors, Neil Redfern. Me and Neil
Yeah.
live about half an hour from each other. So we
Nice.
actually like hire a venue, and then we'll have like a YouTube day where we'll
Oh,
just go and
really?
like play with different ideas and things. Yeah.
That's so cool. Oh, that's a powerhouse right there. You and Neil together. That's amazing. That's super awesome. Um, oh, you know what? I see my wife is locked out at the front of the house. she's literally ringing the doorbell, and none of my kids are getting it. They're all waiting for me to get up to go get the door.
That's amazing.
I'll let my daughter figure it out. Well, that's super cool. Man, if I ever make it up to UK, which I hope to, I certainly want to go visit you guys there, and we'll have to plan one of those YouTube days and go rent a venue or something. That'd be fun.
Definitely. Yeah.
So, but what's cool is when you're there, you get to practice and you get to do those things like what you were showing, which is you get to kind of really play with the whoops, I picked the wrong screen here. With these different types of images and kind of see what works. And that way, when you're on the wedding day and you play with those cookie cutters or light or CDs or whatever it is, you'll know just right away, like, oh yeah, I had really low flash power. Oh yeah, I tilted it just a little bit this way, or I shot it 10 times real quick and was able to get something that stood out. So it's that time to practice, basically, which is really good for everybody.
Definitely.
Cool. All right. Well, Toni, let's get on to this next one. And this one, actually, I put a little teaser in the Facebook community so everybody can kind of see. But tell us about the image, and then I'll bring up the BTS as you talk about it.
So this was taken on a real wedding day, a venue, I would say like half an hour from me, and it's somewhere where I do tend to go quite a bit at the time. And quite often I feel as though I would like my brides and grooms to have something that the last couple didn't have, something that is
Mhm.
literally completely unique to them. And I think partly that's my competitive side coming out, that I need to just better myself. Um, so this is actually a multiple exposure. So I shoot on Canon, so we have like the luxury of shooting multiple and double exposures. So this image is actually 4 exposures, but all in camera. So a little bit like the cookie cut, a little bit like the cookie cutter one.
Yeah.
I've used a creative blue mag gel and pointed it towards a wall outside. So with a double exposure, anything that's not exposed in the first image, so anything that's black, I can then re-expose in my second, third, fourth exposures. So I've gone to like a dark corner of the garden, pointed my flash towards the wall, used a mag grid and a mag gel again to create that perfect circle on the wall. And I think my couples think I am absolutely bonkers. Like I've been known to take them in the darkest corner of a car park on a wedding day before now.
That's fun.
um, so yeah, so they're that's a silhouette of them against the blue creative gel that's creating the blue of the background.
Uh-huh.
And then what I've actually done is I've gone and found a chandelier in the wedding venue and I've shot up into the chandelier for my second, third, and fourth exposures, which is what gives you that really cool bokeh around the outside of the image, and something that I love the sort of the feeling of you taking them to the darkest corner of a car park or the darkest corner of a garden in a wedding venue, and then they're literally not expecting that this image is coming to them, and they've got this like really creative portrait that they've literally have no idea how I've created, although
Yeah.
it's all created like within their wedding venue.
I totally agree. It's so much fun to share these types of things with the clients and just see their reaction and see how excited
Yeah.
they get. I mean, they really, you guys have heard me say it before, but they think you're just some crazy magician and they're just like so excited by it.
Yeah.
So I love it. Quick question for you. I noticed the chandelier has some blue on it. Is that just how the chandelier was made?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I chose the blue gel to sort of complement the chandelier. So
Nice.
I'd previously been around the wedding venue and sort of scouted out little ideas of maybe what I might want to use for a double exposure. And then when I saw how cool this looked in my like test runs, if you will, that's why I picked the blue, because I knew it would complement the little blue bits that might stand out in the image.
You know, I appreciate how you shared with everybody as well the idea behind the multiple exposures, because I think you know, even sometimes when I'm out there shooting, I'll kind of just forget, like, oh, if you do a multiple exposure, the part that's black, the part that's dark, is the part that you're gonna add to. So you know, this is where you're
Yeah.
light, and this is where you add to. I do have one question. Did you, as far as post goes, in post, did you have to get kind of fill in the area where they were? Or did, because I was looking at the behind the scenes with the kind of the knob on the chandelier, did that cause any issues in post, or did you, were you able to just make it work without any extra
No,
tweaking there?
no, I don't think so. I think I was the reason I picked that particular chandelier was normally with a chandelier you have a bulb right in the middle, don't you? And with
Yeah,
this one, um, because the chandelier was so bright, like my settings changed so much between the base image and then this image,
yeah,
because I think this was shot at like such a fast shutter speed that the little knob wasn't lit as much as all
wasn't
the
lit.
bulbs. The bulbs were so bright they were just overpowering everything else.
Yeah, I love that.
So yeah.
Again, you're getting lots of love on this one too. Pretty much every shot, Toni. You're always you're always gonna get lots of love on it. So cool. Actually, before we go on to the next image, there was a couple of quick. Lorenzo had a great comment here. He was talking about just these classes in general. He's how I shot it. Just on a personal note, I feel like I'm back in class. Always when watching how I shot it, it's so cool that you can develop your skills learning from others. The power of the MagMod community is incredible. I would absolutely agree with you, Lorenzo. I just love the community that we have behind the MagMod, our MagMod community. I love that on the Facebook page, how it's always, share a photo, share a caption, how you created it. Our Instagram channel, it's always people that are like, hey, I want to get featured on Instagram. And they know that along with the feature comes, the caption. It's always learning, always learning. So it's because of you guys. So we certainly appreciate you. And then it looks like Eric's volunteering to be an assistant. Have you worked with Eric out there in UK? Is he out there as well?
I haven't. No.
Well, you got to volunteer there. So looks
Yes.
like maybe he's
Anytime,
volunteering
Eric.
for when we do our big YouTube venue. There.
So excited for that. Maybe
it.
we should encourage a YouTube day for everyone in MagMod in the UK.
I love it. We should rent a venue, have everybody come on out and just create YouTube videos all day long. I love it. By the way, Derek's actually, he's asking kind of this peephole, this idea of kind of shooting through things and stuff, the cookie cutters, the CD. Do you find yourself often putting things kind of in front of your lens? Is that kind of a go-to for you a lot?
I would say so, maybe, yes. I think the double exposures at one point was a go-to for me because as you have the time to create your base image and then come back to it. So it's almost like cheating a little bit because you've got a lot of time. Although I do love them because you can be so creative with them.
Yeah.
I definitely think for me, I think it probably is quite a thing that I would definitely go to for creative portraits.
Yeah.
But I just love flash, and if I do take these creative portraits, I'll always take a safe image, so like just a really nice well lit flash portrait as well, because I think that's a tip from the other side. Like, don't just go in and just give them the creative stuff, give them the nice like simple stuff as well, because they're probably going to love both.
Yeah, absolutely. Oftentimes I find the couple loves the creative and the family, the grandparents and stuff love the traditional, right? It's kind of so you might as well just create them both. You have them there, make everyone happy. Love it. So Toni,
I don't know if you have a saying over there. We call them fireplace photos. So like they're the sort of pit, like the grandparents will put it on the fireplace. So we call them fireplace photos in the UK.
I can totally see that. That's I've never heard that said here, at least not in Arizona. I haven't heard it. I love that though. That's a great way of looking at it. Totally. Yeah. Although I don't know if I was a grandparent, I would be excited to put a photo like this on my fireplace. So
yeah.
but they certainly like the more traditional shots. So Toni, I know the next 4 shots or so that we're going to finish up with are all about reception. So before we get into that, is there any particular tips? And I like to ask people questions right when they drink some water. Just no, but is there any particular tips that you would give with regards to reception before we even get into these last 4 photos that kind of talk about that?
Do you mean with regards to photographing a reception?
With regards to like lighting, like is there, when you're going into lighting a reception and lighting the speakers, the toasts and things like that, is there a particular modifier as kind of your go-to or something you like to do quite often?
Yeah, so for me, I love controlling everything when it comes to lighting. So I'll give myself rules, so to speak. So for example, if I was shooting a dance floor, I would shoot a dance floor. Um, I would light from one side, so I'd have I use 4 flashes, bit extreme, but I just love controlling it so much. So I'll use 2 flashes on one side, one flash on the opposite side, and then one flash facing me.
Okay.
And I'll always use them with CTO gels on, because again, I love controlling the temperature as well. And when I say I give myself rules, I'm always then shooting into the light that's facing me, because I think you just learn what works for you. And for me, definitely with the gels on and shooting into a light, I just feel like I've got like good light from this angle. So if I wanted to change the angle I wanted to shoot at, I'd move my flashes a little bit. And I know that people might think, well, Toni, hang on, what if something happens over here or over there? Well, I think, I could go around all night like chasing these moments, or I can just, move this way and this way and this way and this way, and I can still get these moments in like amazing light. So yeah, for me,
Yeah.
absolutely love photographing the dance floor, but I do give myself quite strict rules when it comes to it.
I love that.
If I'm lighting the speeches, sorry,
No,
just
please.
I feel like I need stopping.
No. This is great. This is all good information. In fact, lighting the speeches here. Let me bring up the image. We'll bring up this shot here, and you can kind of talk about it as you're talking about lighting speeches.
So when I'm writing speeches, again, people are going to think I'm absolutely nuts. So when I'm writing speeches, again, I'll use my flashes on stands with CTO gels.
Hmm.
And I should add that I'm then amending my white balance to suit the CTO gels. I've tried it the opposite way around and warming it up and having bare flashes, but I just love the way the CTO gels look. So I've always got CTO gels on. So say I've got a top table. I've got two flashes sort of pointing into the top table from like it probably doesn't apply to this one, but I'll just carry on anyway. So I've got two flashes sort of pointing in, pointing into a top table, and I generally just focus on the top table.
Hmm.
So on the photograph that you've seen there, I've still done that, but on this particular wedding, the speakers were actually in a different place to the top table.
Isn't that
So
hard?
what I've done is, yeah. So what I've done is I've got my two flashes pointing into the top table, and I'm photographing down the top table with nice light on everyone's faces because it's at that nice 45-degree angle. And then I've actually got my third flash pointing directly at the speaker. And I've actually used a mag snoot for this one. So
Ah,
basically I've got two flash setups in like on one go, if you will. So I've got flash A and B pointing at the top on, and then say on channel 4, I've got this flash
okay.
with a mag snoot on pointing just at the speaker. So I can either photograph the top table with my two flashes or just the speaker with this flash.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, so yeah, I'm kind of like, again, giving myself definite rules for this one. Exactly the same thing. Whereas this one, I've just, if these guys are sat on the top table. So again, I've got my two flashes pointing in for like my safe pictures of the top table. And then
Uh-huh.
I use four flashes on a wedding day. So I've actually got two flashes, both with a snoot on half extended, one pointing at the guy that stood up speaking and one pointing at the bride. So you can
Uh-huh.
kind of see here, this is like me just testing that my snoot's pointing in the right place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
You
if
definitely have it
it's not,
controlled
then
though.
obviously they're going to be black.
Yeah. That's super cool.
So
In fact,
yeah,
here's one more there. I love that. I
I
love
just
how
love being in
Tony, you're
total control.
yeah, I was just gonna say that. I love how you like to have that control out there and make sure that light's landing exactly where you want it, and get these really cool
Yeah.
moments where what I think stands out about this image, for example, here is the guy in the foreground on the right hand side. You can see his expression, but it doesn't take away from the image. You get drawn to where she's at because of the way you use the control of light there, which is fantastic. So super cool stuff. Um, Tony, you had a question here. Ellie was wondering what lights you use. You mentioned that you use four different lights. What kind of flashes are you using typically?
I had someone ask me this in the MagMod group the other day, and I use the Young Newer
Uh-huh.
flashes, which I know are like super cheap, but I throw them around, they get knocked over. I'm not worried about them breaking. And someone asked me the question of why don't I use the Godox ones? I was like, I don't need to because they work perfectly well as they are.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, all my flashes are the Young Newer. I think they're the YN 560 IVs, 564s.
Okay. And I know they have the 600s as well that are kind of a built-in transmitter, I believe. And what are they? I mean, they're
Yeah,
like $90 or $100 or I don't,
yeah.
they're not expensive. I will say, so I had bought two in the past and I did break both of them pretty, and it was silly breaks. It was like the battery cover would break and then I had to
Snaps
like
off.
tape it
Yeah.
down or something. And so after that, I did go to the Godox, and I have had a little bit more success as far as, I mean, I probably just broke them because I'm so hard on them on the Young Nuos. But what's nice about it is if you do break it, you're not like, you know, pouting, I think was the word you used earlier,
Yeah.
because it's not, it's not a ton of money. So you're not spending $600 like you would on a Canon flash. Love you, Canon, but the price is a little high. So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Um, very, very cool. Well, I think we covered. Was there anything? I know I went through these images on the reception a little bit fast. Was there anything else that you wanted to point out, or on? I just kind of grouped these all together. But um, was this shot kind of the similar way with a? Was this a snoot or a mag grid?
A snoot again for this one, half extended. And if you show the behind the scenes, that's kind of where I got the idea from. I knew that they were going to speak, and I knew that they had like a stand to speak from. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I knew that this is the video guy that you can see in the picture there. I just got him to stand where the speakers would be, did my test
Mm,
shot on him, and then I'm good,
gotcha.
good to
And then you
go.
knew where. Yeah, love it. So cool. Toni, this has been a lot of fun. Like I said, there's certain little things. Every time I do these shows, I always just pick up little things that I go, oh, I got to do that. I think one of the biggest things for me was just the control of light and how you use it in your photographs. And then the second thing is just to remind myself that once I get that light on my subject, like that rain shot, to step back, shoot at different angles. You don't have to change your light. You just change your angle, change your lens, and get completely different shots. So, um,
Yeah.
really cool stuff. I want to just share a few more quick comments before we close this out. Sasha saying you rock. Um,
Oh.
Aniket saying great tips. Absolutely. I agree with you, Aniket. Creative inspired use of speedlight. Hi from Norway. Appreciate that. Ellie was saying thanks for the information on the flashes. Francis is giving a shout out to MagMod. We certainly appreciate that, Francis. Thanks so much. He's receiving his soon. Nice. Well, that's going to be exciting for him. And Glad's tuning
Yeah.
in from Zambia. Isn't that fun when you see somebody and they like expand their, whether it be a lens, a flash modifiers, or something? You're just like, oh man, it's so exciting. It's like Christmas. So, and Toni, there was two more comments. I'm sorry, we already did one. There was actually some from before. I wanted to just share these. Matt Hurry says that's so right. We also learn a lot better and get to evolve our talent by teaching others. I think he was referring to when you were talking about sharing and teaching others. You got a new subscriber there. And then Brian also mentioned he's definitely following you. Love the shots. Love her energy. Totally agree with you, Brian. Toni, what a pleasure. It's been
Yeah.
to have you on here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I know these episodes, the hardest part about these episodes is just picking out the images because, again, every single person I bring on here, they're so super talented. We could probably talk about hundreds of Toni's photos, but I appreciate picking out the ones that you did pick out because I think there's some really valuable and cool lessons that we can learn from those. So thank you.
No, thank you. And thank you to everyone for all the lovely comments. I feel a little bit overwhelmed.
No, well, you deserve it. You certainly deserve it. And Toni, I know it's like 9:30 or almost 9:30 out there for all you guys on the other side of the pond. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks, Toni, for taking the time this evening for you to do this episode with me. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, guys, I'm going to close this out real quick. And I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Again, Friday, if I'm not mistaken, Derek, I know you were watching. I believe that he's going to be in the hot seat with me. But we do have an episode this Friday. Maybe it's not Derek. Maybe it's somebody else. I think it's Derek. But either way, join us
Derek's
Friday.
probably panicking now.
Yeah, he probably is. He's probably like, wait, what? I got to be on here Friday.
What?
That would be awesome. But join us Friday, guys. And again, these episodes, if you're catching it late or if you're just tuning in at the end of it, we throw them up on YouTube as well, so you guys can scan through them and check out some of these photos. And like I said before, be sure to subscribe to Toni's YouTube channel and follow her on Instagram. You're going to be inspired and you're going to learn a ton. So awesome. With that, again, thank you, everyone. Thanks so much, Toni. You're amazing. Really appreciate having you here.
Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you for your time as well.
Absolutely. All right, guys, you have a good one. Take care. Have a good rest of your week. Bye-bye.